Oh, can you mute me for now?
Good morning.
Morning. All right, good morning. Can everyone hear me on Zoom?
Good morning, Katie.
Thumbs up. Oh, can you hear me better if I speak into the speaker?
Yeah, I can hear you either way.
Microphone, whatever it's called.
Yeah, I can hear you either way.
Okay. Where's my mouse? Where's? Oh, we're all the way up. It says. Okay, the volume is not that great for you guys. So if you need something at any time and my back is towards you, please unmute and holler at me. Okay, so we're gonna get started, and hopefully a few more will show up in person. You're welcome, welcome. Okay, so today we are gonna go over customer experience. They also said customer service, but customer experience is a way better way to look at things. What I've done is there is a huge class at Keller Williams University that they teach this course, and it's literally like an 8-hour course. I have compiled it into hopefully the 2 hours. So bear with me if you feel like I'm going too fast anytime, just holler at me, stop me, have me repeat. I'm perfectly fine with that. So to get started, for a few that I don't know, my name's Katie Womble. I'm the CEO of Morgan Womble Group and Operation Director. So we are going to get started, and like I said, hopefully get through this whole packet. For the Zoomers, Natasha will be putting up in the chat this packet for you guys. And like I said, if you need me at any time, you just need to unmute and holler, because I'm not checking the chat box for you guys, okay? Thumbs up for the 3 people I see. David, you good? Hannah, you good? Okay. All right, so customer experience. So today what we're going to go over is the 5S model that Keller Williams has. We're just kind of going through the packet. We have a few activities we can do, which will go fairly quick and stuff. So what we're going to do, so customer experience, high achievers are always looking for the purposeful way. By doing this, they break through the ceiling of their natural behaviors. So the benefits of having great customer service, you bring value to yourself and your business. You ensure expectations and set and exceed them. So the 5S model with Keller Williams, number 1 is set. You're going to set and exceed expectations at the beginning of your relationship and agree on them. Number 2, you're going to serve customers by doing what you said you would do and doing it well. Number 3, you're going to survey your customers by constantly checking in to see how things are going. Number 4, you're going to surpass customers' expectations by providing an unexpected service or handling some part of the transaction in an unexpected way. You're going to exceed the expectations. And number 5, sustain. You're going to sustain the relationship over the lifetime of the customer, so they provide you with repeats and referrals. All right, so what is the customer experience? So customer service is when you're providing a service in a way, efficient yet common way, and solving issues reactively as they arise. What is a customer experience? The customer experience, you're going to be purposeful and proactive about delivering an exceptional experience that the customer feels, sees, hears, and remembers you for. I'll repeat that for you guys. Your customer experience is being purposeful and proactive about delivering an exceptional experience the customer feels, sees, hears, and remembers you for. So with like customer experience too, Keller Williams has the 80-20 rule, where you always want to be focusing on your 20% within your business. It same goes with your customers. 80% of your revenue is going to come from 20% of your existing customers. And by that, it's because they're sending you the referrals, they're repeating, business with you guys, everything like that. And it's easier to keep a customer than it is to get a new one. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and start with the first one. So setting expectations. So the first step of the 5S model in delivering a great customer experience is to set expectations at the beginning of the relationship. The goal is to set the proper expectations so there is congruency between where the customer is and where you are. Set expectations you can meet and exceed, then communicate to your customers what you did. So with that, with setting expectations, you're going to do it in 3 simple steps. 1, you're going to present your value proposition. 2, you're going to listen to your customer. And 3, you're going to seek agreement with your customer. So you're going to come together, agree, and set mutual expectations. Do you guys have the packet in chat yet?
Not yet.
Okay. Hopefully it'll be uploaded soon. Sorry about that.
You can try
No
to
worries.
raise the volume
Through this? Maybe on
the
this.
volume.
Or maybe it's on here. Oh, there we go. Can you speak now, Jennifer?
Yeah. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Commercial.
Beautiful.
Good. Thank you. Or bags free commercial, however you want to look at it. Yes.
Katie, we have the package now.
Okay, fabulous. If you guys want to open that up, it'll kind of go along with everything I'm going over. Okay, so setting the expectation, the first thing we're going to focus on is presenting your value proposition. So know your value proposition. Your value proposition states in a few sentences exactly what you will do for your customer. You should always be prepared to present your value proposition. So for our team, our value proposition, we also call it our mission. We put them kind of one and the same, is to make buying and selling or investing in real estate an enjoyable process for people from any walk of life by listening intently to their needs and then leveraging cutting edge technology on their behalf to ensure a smooth, effective, and stress-free transaction. So that's our team's value proposition. Does anyone already have a value proposition set up? I know you're brand spanking now. Dave or Brad, do you guys have a value proposition in your business?
Not set.
Not yet. Anyone on Zoom? Does anyone on Zoom have a value proposition set up for their business? No? Well, darn, guess you guys have some homework to do. That's when, and setting up your business in general, like this is going to be a great tool to use for everything because that value proposition is going to stick with you forever. You might tweak it here and there, something like that. Like originally we didn't have cutting edge technology because 20 years ago, there wasn't cutting edge technology to use. So you kind of have to tweak them a little bit. You just have to make sure they're true to your business though. So we've had that one for a while now, actually, and it seems to kind of work with us and stays, true to everything that we've been doing. So with your customers, they want peace of mind. So you want to communicate everything you will be doing to bring your value to the relationship and set your expectations up front. You're going to share personal records of accomplishments. You can share testimonials, offer service guarantees, provide timely and systematic updates, remind them you are their partner in this relationship and treat them as you would treat family. And then you can focus on the 10 service areas, which is an attachment at the very end of the packet, but we're not going to go over that in great detail. So the other thing with Keller Williams is you want to act as a fiduciary to your clients and not as a functionary. So with fiduciary, you're going to act, place their needs above everything else. You're going to focus and win everything for them. So some differences between functionary and fiduciary. So if a functionary just tells and sells, what does the fiduciary do? They what?
Advise.
Yep. They serve, educate, and guide, which is the same as advising. And a functionary, if they just respond to needs, what would a fiduciary do? Feel free to unmute too if you know.
Anticipate the needs.
What was that?
Anticipate the needs.
Absolutely. Yep. So a fiduciary would anticipate the needs versus just responding. So a functionary assumes little responsibility. What does the fiduciary do?
Or assumes no responsibility, assumes our responsibility.
Accepts high responsibility.
Oh, okay.
What was the answer?
Accepts high responsibility. Hopefully I didn't turn them too high. So functionary will complete a task. What does a fiduciary do? They own the result. So a functionary will deliver information. What does the fiduciary do?
Educate.
I was gonna say advise. There's your advise. They advise and consult, which is same as educate. The functionary will meet expectations. What will the fiduciary do?
Set expectations.
Exceed expectations. Yes. And then a functionary is replaceable. A fiduciary is irreplaceable. Non-replaceable, irreplaceable, yes. Okay, so moving on to the part 2, which is listening to your customer. People don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. So you're always seek first to understand. So pay attention to your customer. So pay attention to what they say, how they say it, and what they mean. One of the biggest mistakes agents make during their presentation is not listening to the client and not really hearing what they are saying or meaning. Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you.
Thank you for joining us. Another thing you're going to do is prepare a needs analysis. This is going to help you kind of uncover and customize. That way you know how to get this information from your clients. With the needs analysis, it's more or less you can create a checklist. You can create a survey type thing. It's finding out their needs and whys. So I need a big backyard. Well, why do you need a big backyard? Is that important to you to have the big backyard? How important is it to you to have that big backyard? And then that way, when you're researching properties or, for them, you're comfortable with knowing, oh, wow, this one is only on a 0.1 acre lot. It does not have a big backyard. So that way you're kind of looking out for what they need. So you're going to clarify their needs with follow-up questions, and you're going to probe 3 questions deep to uncover their real needs, wants, and expectations. So you're going to ask them, is there anything else you would like me to know? Is there anything else you would like me to know? Why is that important to you? We are on the page that has truth at the top. So why is that important to you? And then on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being highest, how important is that to you? So for instance, if I said, so, hey, Dave, what are you looking for in a new home?
A big backyard.
Okay. Why is having a big backyard important to you?
Because I like to mow grass.
And I wouldn't be laughing at Dave because this is really important to him. But what will that do for you?
Oh, I'll burn more gas.
Go broke because I can't afford the gas. All right. So as you can see, you kind of want to go like 3 deep into the why. That way you can really understand, is this really what they're trying to communicate? Is it just something that they think they want versus not? Because sometimes what happens is they'll say, well, I want 4 bedrooms. Okay, why do you need 4 bedrooms? Well, I have 3 kids and my husband and myself, so I have to have 4 bedrooms. Everyone needs their own room. What will that do for you? Well, I'll keep my kids separated. They won't fight and argue, and they have their own space to go to. Something like that. Or it might be, well, I have 2 kids and I really need a guest room because my mom comes and visits every week every weekend, and she needs to kind of have her own place. Yeah. But, so just kind of going that extra little depth into the asking of why kind of helps too. And then that way you always have that in the back of your head, why this was important to them and why you need to really focus hard on getting that for them. So you need to ask for what their preferred communication method is. Do they need to be talked to often? Do I need to check in with you weekly, twice a week, every day? How, what is your level of comfort? Do you prefer calling, texting, emailing? Everyone's different nowadays. I feel text is probably the 90% of the time what's used now. Knowing if text and email is better, is it still okay that I call you every now and then with big updates or big, information and stuff like that? The number one complaint customers have is that they do not get enough communication from their agents. And so you definitely want to set that expectation up front. How often will I be calling you? How often will you be calling me? So the third section for setting expectations is seeking agreement. So you have made your complete presentation, you have listened to your client's needs and concerns, and now you're ready to agree and get a contract signed, whether this is for a listing or a buyer. Watch for reactions from your customers as you get through the process setting expectations. What vibes are you getting from them, and is there a good connection? So the 3 questions then you will be asking yourself: do you feel there can be a relationship here? Do you feel there can be a relationship here? Do you have rapport with each other? And can you meet their needs and expectations? So the third one was, can you meet their needs and expectations? Then if you answered yes to all those questions, you have a win-win. And if you answered no, then you might need to further inquire about understanding their expectations. You might come from curiosity, which is just letting them kind of address their concerns well enough. And at the end of the day, if there's still not that connection, you might be better off referring them to another agent, because this will prevent the frustration of you and your customer and still ends in a win-win for everybody. And that happens sometimes. So I know we kind of breezed through this first section, but did anyone get anything of value from that first section of setting expectations? Zoomers?
Can you give us an example of value proposition?
Yeah, so I'll read you mine. So this is our team's value proposition: to make buying and selling or investing in real estate an enjoyable process for people from any walk of life, by listening intently to their needs and then leveraging cutting-edge technology on their behalf to ensure a smooth, effective, and stress-free transaction.
Okay. It's just like a mission statement.
Exactly. Yeah, that's our mission statement too. It is pretty much one and the same. And sometimes too, like if you're on a team, like that's our team one, but then individual agents might have an additional one. I've been working on my additional one through another coaching program I've been doing, and I had to pick 3 of my most important values, which are thankful, creativity, and leader. So I'm supposed to come up with my own personal one based on those 3 values. And I'm struggling a little bit because I wanted to make sure it actually represents myself. I'm supposed to have it done by the end of this month. See if I can do it. So as a team, your team might have their own mission value proposition, but then you as an individual can also have your own. Any ahas or anything from our Zoomers? Down to two people that I can see.
Have something I think is really wordy. And I'm actually on the way to the office, so I could ask you or let you read it when I get there.
Yes, that's perfect. Okay, so we are going to take the next page you'll see is just basically your customer experience system part 1. How will I set and exceed expectations for my customers in each step of the life cycle? So we can work on this for a few minutes. We're perfectly good on time. So basically what you would want to go through is thinking to yourself, with these certain items, how can I set an expectation, and then how can I actually exceed that expectation? So for instance, with a needs analysis, what would be my expectation on a needs analysis? So this is where basically I'm trying to figure out, what do you want? What do you want in a new house? Anybody?
An island in the kitchen.
So what would be my expectation that I'm saying, this is what I will do for you when I'm going over this? I would ask basic needs. I would basically say, what do you want? What do you want?
A house.
So how would I exceed doing that? I would find out their why. So what do you want, Dave? And why do you want that? So your expectation would be just the basic, like, what can I do for you to fulfill this particular need? But then exceeding it would be, what can I do above that so that you're my cheerleader for the rest of your life? So for instance, like pre-qualification or pre-approval, what would be my expectation that I can set if they ask me about getting pre-qualified or pre-approved? I could recommend a lender. But to exceed that, what would I do? Anybody?
Give them the name and numbers. Or
I would set up the consultation. So instead of just giving them the name, I recommend this guy, I would say, you know what, I'm going to put you guys in touch. I'm going to send this little email to both of you or a text to both of you, and I'm going to set up this meeting. So different things like that. Same with like vendors, like inspections and everything like that. My expectation would be, I would just give them the contact information. How am I going to exceed with vendors? Set the inspection appointments. With closings is a big one for us. So what would be setting your expectation would be probably just attend the closing, right? So how would you exceed attending a closing?
Bring a gift.
Yeah, make it a celebration. Bring a gift, bring balloons, bring, paparazzi with you. I don't know. But something like that. They're not expecting it. They're expecting you to be there, but they're not expecting you to bring them in. It's not like you're going to tell them up front, okay, by the way, when I close, I'm going to bring you a gift. It's only going to be $25, but I'm going to bring you that gift. You don't tell them that, they don't know. So when you do show up with that gift and the balloons and the paparazzi, they're like, what? And they're really excited about that. So some of the stuff on the seller side, and you guys can go through all of these in detail. Property preparation. How can I set an expectation for property preparation? They're getting ready to get their house on the market. I can maybe recommend a stager or a home cleaner. How can I exceed that?
Put them in contact.
Set it up, organize it, maybe even pay for it, because maybe that's part of what I do, but I just don't tell them that up front. And then that's little icing on the cake. And then pre-closing preparation. I can recommend a cleaner. What could I do to exceed that? Line up that cleaner, pay for the cleaner, everything like that. So the rest of this worksheet, you guys can kind of work on your own. Just think, basically setting expectations might be kind of your basic, how can I at least get that done? Whereas then exceeding it, well, how can I get it done better? Okay. Are we good on Zoom? Oh, I have lots of people on Zoom now. Okay. See 2 people. Yay. I'm just going to keep calling out the people I see. I see Josh and Hannah. Thanks for being with us, Josh and Hannah.
Thanks for doing this.
Okay, so for 5S, number 2 is serve. So it's time to think service. The second step to your customer experience system is all about serving up what you said you do and doing it well. Since customers focus on outcomes and the experience, this step is critical to delivering a great customer experience. So do what you agree to do. Doing what you say you'll do sounds simple, yet it takes having a system of checks and balances in place to ensure that everything gets done to satisfy the customer. This is what builds a bond of trust between you and your customer. So if you say you will drive them around for showings, and then last minute you say, oh, can you just meet me there? We're right there. You're already starting to break that trust they had with you. And then just make sure you do it well. So doing what you said you do and doing it well go hand in hand. Doing your job well involves having standards, which can be measured, using technology effectively, and leveraging team members and vendors. So having standards, which can be measured, using technology, and leveraging team members and vendors. So under this section of serving, we're going to go over having standards, leveraging technology, and leveraging people. So with standards, your standards define your service and should directly affect the level of customer experience you provide. Share your standards and timelines so your customer knows what and when their things are going to happen. So with standards, you always hear people say, oh, we have high standards, or this doesn't meet our standards, or that is below our standards. Well, you need to know what your standards are. So you're going to have communication standards. So communication, the customers will be quick to judge. They seldom feel they get too much information. In fact, one of the most common complaints is they're not getting enough. So you're going to provide a strong foundation for sustaining the relationship. You're going to set and manage expectations proactively throughout the transaction.
What was that one?
You're going to set and manage expectations proactively throughout the transaction. You're going to create peace of mind for your customers. You're going to demonstrate your professionalism, enhance your credibility. See, I keep wanting to say create. This looks like a repeat. Give customers peace of mind. And then increase the likelihood of success. So 4 simple communication rules you have is you're going to tell them what you're going to do and provide the peace of mind. You're going to ask great questions, keep quiet, and really listen to the answers. You're going to communicate weekly, and when something significant happens, keep them informed. And you're never, ever going to put off bad news. You're going to get it over with, move quickly on it, and solve the problem. So never underestimate the power of personal touches. I can read some of these, but I think I'm just going to ask you guys is how do you touch your clients on a personal level? And this can be for Zoomers too. How do you touch your customers on a personal level?
Celebrating their birthdays.
Okay, what do you do to celebrate their birthdays, Jennifer?
Send them a card, a Facebook post, and a text.
Okay. In a handwritten card?
Yes.
Anybody else? Any personal touches? Anyone on Zoom? So I will tell you what we do. So we do birthday cards as well. We actually send $5 gift cards to everybody on their birthday, handwritten, hand addressed. I sometimes use my little silhouette machine to make the writing really cute on the envelope. It's loud. Everybody hates it when I run in the office, but it is what it is. For home anniversaries, we send a home anniversary gift every year the person is in their house. So we got some going on 10 years, everything like that's fun. Every now and then I do look up the address just to make sure that people are still there if we hadn't heard from them in a while. because sometimes that happens. But we do home anniversary gifts every year. I have a Facebook list. It's not a private group, but what I did, I created a customer list on my page to where anybody that I friended on Facebook that was a client, I stick them in this list. And then what it easily lets me do is that once a week I pop on there and it shows me the feeds of all my list people. So that way I can reach out to them to say, oh my gosh, that's so awesome that Bobby got a goal on Friday at the soccer game. That way I can stay engaged with them. And they think maybe I'm stalking them on Facebook, or they just think I'm that, looking at everything that's going on with all their lives. I'm trying to think what else we do. We do client events twice a year. We're organizing one for this fall. We haven't done one beginning of the year, just with the way the world is. But we have one lined up for this fall. We also do Popeyes to like our top 50 clients. So basically we go through and everybody that has referred business, like our top 50 people, we do little Popeye gifts for them. We did brownie deliveries. We've done Cinco de Mayo deliveries. We do different deliveries like that. That's kind of not quite quarterly. It's kind of quarterly, but sometimes it only falls 3 times a year. And I don't know if I'm talking about this later, but we also have a referral program. So whenever clients refer business to us, they get put into a private little inner circle group. And they get little perks once a month for a certain amount of months based on how many referrals they send. So those are a few ways that we kind of touch our people on personal levels. So continuing with standards is mindset and image standards. So how you feel, think, and act is your mindset. It's easily transferred to your face and your body. For example, when you're sad, we may tend to frown. When you're happy, we may smile and laugh more. These emotions carry over to our customers and create an uncomfortable feeling, even distress. So if you had a bad morning with your kids or your husband or your wife or your significant other, and then you go on to a listing presentation, sure enough, that is gonna kind of come through and they're gonna be like, whoa, what's up with you? You need a Snickers? Because it's gonna come across to them. So avoid bringing any negative thoughts or emotions from your personal life or business, and treat each customer as if you're excited and positive. Your image does matter, as people tend to form impressions quickly. So how you look and how your workplace looks is important and impacts credibility. So you always want to make sure you're dressing professionally and appropriate. Have your workspace organized, cleaned. Cars are always a big thing. If you're taking buyers around, they don't want Cheerios on the floor. They might, but they probably don't. And your image is also defined by who you surround yourself with. So if your assistants, your vendors, your stagers, your photographers, make sure they're all in the same kind of standards as you are. And most importantly is to enforce your standards. When you tell your customer what you're going to do, remember how well you intend to provide service to them based on your standards. If you don't enforce your standards, you've wasted your time creating them in the first place. You cannot maintain a strong service culture unless you and your team are passionate about what you do and keep the customers as the focus. This is when everyone benefits. So some examples of standards. So never hang up the phone without letting the client know what is happening next. Return phone calls within, and this is where you guys could put whatever, 2 hours, 1 hour, 5 minutes, 24 hours. That would be based on how you want to set up your standard. When an issue comes up, get back to the customer within 24 hours. What are some other examples of standards that you guys can think of? Anybody?
Like whenever you follow up with your sellers on Mondays, or you follow up with your buyers on Fridays, or you follow up with your under contracts on Tuesdays after you've contacted all of the lenders and all the vendors.
Yes, so absolutely. letting them know is, hey, Bobby Buyer, every Tuesday, I'm going to give you an update of where we are within your contract. But if anything happens in the meantime that I feel, I need to let you know, or if you have questions about, please feel free to reach out to me. And that way, then Bobby Buyer knows it's Tuesday. I should be getting my update around 10 o'clock. And if it doesn't come, then Bobby's Buyer's like, it's Tuesday. It's now 11 o'clock. Where's my update? Then Bobby Buyer's texting you, hey, it's Tuesday. It's 12 o'clock. What's going on? Is everything okay? Is something wrong? Like, has my lender said something? Then they start panicking. So when you say, yes, I'm going to follow up with you at this date around this time, you better get it done. What are some other things you guys can think of with standards? I'm a stickler for follow-ups. So maybe it would be like communicating with the other agent on listings. So like after a showing, they know that I'm not just waiting for that pre-populated showing time review to come out, that they know that after every showing, I'm personally calling the agents for feedback. So any questions about standards? Good. Yes. Yeah.
We communicate so much by phone.
Mhm.
That tends to be, for me, when we're running in between appointments,
Mhm.
what have you, right?
Mhm.
And one of the things that I found is the statement of your emotions of your day are really in your voice,
Mhm.
and that it really projects that way.
Mhm.
So 100 years ago, I used to train my folks to have a mirror by them, especially when you're driving. Turn the rear view mirror around while you're talking,
Mhm.
because your facial expressions and how you speak actually are one and the same.
Mhm.
So if you're having a terrible day, and it happens so often, right? You missed an appointment, or somebody didn't show up, or something even better. Make sure that you're really watching that. I think that's huge.
For sure. And you guys do probably talk the most in the car, just because you're trying to feel, hey, I've got 30 minutes to get from A to B. Let me utilize this 30 minutes from A to B, and I'm going to do these follow-up calls or this and that. I would say sometimes with the follow-ups, I like stuff in writing. I love stuff in writing. So for me, like our weekly follow-ups are always an email, always. And it's bam, 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 bam. This is what's going on this week. Spoke to your lender, spoke to the agent, spoke to this person. Inspections are ready for this person. And it's all laid out for them in a very detailed email. If there's anything bad that happened, like, oh my gosh, the appraisal is not going to get done within due diligence, we're going to have to extend due diligence. That's a phone call followed up by an email. So it's understood. Because sometimes too, if you're like me, I can get rambling, I can get fast on the phone. And then I'm like hanging up, like, okay, you got everything? They're like, yeah. And then I hang up and I'm like, I don't think they understood or something. So that's why everything is then followed up with an email. But that's great. That is good, because I know when I come in the office in the morning, I do a lot of my care calls in the morning. And I find myself, if it was just a crappy morning, my 13-year-old was just sassing me. We were almost late to school. I forgot to have my tea in the morning. I really don't want to go buy Starbucks, and all this stuff. Totally. Like I'll get to the office like, I have to postpone my care calls, because I know if I try to get them done right then and there, it's not going to be good, because I'm just going to be like, okay, bye. Because I'm not going to feel like talking to them. I postpone things. I push them back, because I do want to make sure I'm the best person when I'm talking to them about stuff. Because they're already, especially in this market as a buyer, they're stressed out enough. I don't need to stress them out more. Okay, so leveraging technology is our second session under serve. And I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on this section, because I feel like the Keller Williams technology is beaten into you guys enough. So we're just going to kind of go through that section briefly. I'm not going to get into command. I'm not going to get into all those fun things. But basically, technology does not replace the agent, but customers use the internet and technology as tools to access and find information. So with Keller Williams, they've given you some really great tools. They have Command, which is more than just a CRM. It's a platform to help you control your database, your business, and your future. Command is amazing, and it can do everything you want it to do if you just do it. And go to the classes and learn how to use it the best way for your business. That's the end of Command speeching. Kelly. So the Kelly app is going to phase out eventually, but the Kelly app right now is probably your best thing for getting pinged when you have a notification in Command, and checking your profit share, and sending referrals. That's about all I find Kelly useful for right now. But Kelly, like I said, is going to be phasing out, and Command is going to be having its own agent portal app. And then the Keller Williams consumer site and app. So the app delivers the data in the neighborhood. So basically you're just trying to link your consumers to your Keller Williams app, and then it's linked to Command and all that fun stuff. So that is the end of the technology section. As you know, there's stuff outside of Keller Williams, Triangle MLS, and all these other fun things that you guys can utilize as well. And then leveraging people is the third thing under CERT. It takes a great deal of forethought and follow through to serve your customers an excellent experience. This is where leveraging the help of your team, vendors, and allied resources really helps deliver an excellent customer experience. So leveraging your team. This can be done with a single point of contact, small teams or large teams. Everyone needs to be on the same page and know their role to make sure your customer's experience is something they will rave about to others. Teams may include listing specialists, buyer specialists, listing coordinators, closing coordinators, marketing managers, director of communications, etc. Leveraging your vendors is looking at making sure that they perform and are accountable the same with your standards, and your vendors are going to include your photographers, inspectors, attorneys, and repair contractors. Leveraging your team, I want to kind of talk about that for a minute. When I say leveraging your team, it doesn't mean you're on a team. It doesn't mean, I mean, you can still be an individual and call things team. For instance, like your photographer. Let me get my photographer, my who's on my team, because he's your photographer. I mean, he might be 500 other agents' photographer, but he's also yours. So I have a photographer on my team. I'm going to get him to come and take the pictures. We're going to do drone work. We're going to do a virtual walkthrough, etc. Let me get my appraiser from my team to come measure your house for you. If they know you have the people backing you, it will help bring, the value to your business. Even to like in your office, if, for instance, like if you're brand new to real estate, you might get asked a question and you're like, I don't know, because it's going to happen. You know what? Let me connect with a team member of mine, and I'll get back to you on that. Who's your team member? I am. Dave is. Brad is. I can't see your name. Sorry. Okay. Like we're all on your team. We are all within Keller Williams. The whole Keller Williams is your team. So don't always feel like you're by yourself on this little private island, which might be nice at times. But by yourself, and you have no one to ask questions to. I mean, Scott's on your team, Jeremy's on your team, Natasha's only on your team for like 2 more days. I'm so sad about that. But everyone's on your team. And within Keller Williams, the culture is amazing. I don't think you're ever going to get the door shut in your face if you ask a question to somebody. If you do, then I don't know, you might want to tell Scott about them. But I feel like at Keller Williams, it's unlike any other firm. Other firms we've been to, you held on, like this was sacred. I didn't share it with anybody. I wouldn't tell you about anything I do because you're going to copy me. Yeah, I mean, a lot of other business like firms are like that still. So, okay, so with service, do you guys have any ahas, any questions on that section, including my Zoomers? Like I said, if I'm going too fast on anything, just holler at me. I get a little blabby at the mouth. We good? No questions. All right then. We're
I have a
just,
question, yeah.
yes.
Because you were saying that if you're going to go the extra mile,
Mhm.
always go the extra mile. So if you have a buyer and they're, you're suggesting that, here's a lender I can connect you to. First time buyer,
Mhm.
and she says, well, I think I want to try my bank.
Mhm.
And see how, because I've been with them for a while and I
Mhm.
trust them. I mean, what do you do?
How do you do in that situation? So if I had said, oh, we're so excited, let's get you pre-approved.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, okay. And I'm like, I have 2 great mortgage people that I work with. They're phenomenal. Their communication's great. Can I introduce you to either of them? I want to use my own bank. Oh, okay. That's no problem at all. Let them use their own bank. No problem at all. Once you meet with them and get the information, just let me know, because I do know that my guy, Mike, he can match and sometimes beat standard banks loan programs because he's a mortgage broker, not a bank. And just you tell them that. And so then if they come back and they say, okay, my bank said that I can be pre-approved to 350 at a 5%, whatever. Say, okay, well, do you mind me sharing that with Mike real quick? And oh no, it's fine. Okay. I share it with Mike. Mike comes back and says, oh my gosh, I can get them at 350 with 2.5%, and I'll give them $1,000 closing credit. Guess what just happened? You won them.
Right.
And now they're really excited. You're really excited because you know Mike, and you're like, Mike, I know I can walk to Mike's office if there's a problem, and I know Mike will call me. I don't know banker lady.
Right.
So it's just a matter of let them do it if that's what they want to do. Don't be forceful with it. Just kind of give you little recommendations, see how it goes. Sometimes banker lady will be great. Sometimes banker lady you won't be able to find, and she has an 800 number. But you just kind of have to go with what they want to do, and that's part of the listening. What do they want to do with this process? And sometimes they'll say, sure, I'll talk to them, and them.
Right.
And then you got all sorts of choices going on.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Yes, absolutely. So this next little exercise is how will I ensure that I do what I say and I do it well. So this is basically where you can kind of fill in these blanks to set some of your standards. So I'm going to give you guys actually like 5 minutes to fill some of this stuff in, and then we're going to kind of review what ideas you kind of came up with. These are not your set in stone standards. You don't have to do all the spaces, just maybe like 2 or 3 from each section. And Zoomers, I don't know, do you guys have this page that is the My CX System Part 2?
Yes.
I was like, oh, I saw it, Hannah, for a second there. Yes, that one. Yes. Hi there. Can you grab one of those name tag things behind you? Yes. Please. Probably just like one more minute. Okay, so this is going to have all sorts of participation. You two Zoomers. Whoops. Am I clicking? Okay. Okay, so with standards, what are a few general standards you can think of? Anybody? Somebody?
Honesty.
What was that? Was that Josh? Sorry.
Yeah, honesty and integrity.
Okay. So being honest with your clients. Anyone else? Come on, Dave, what you got for me?
Set exceeds expectations.
Mhm. So some general standards, I would say too, is if you're doing it for your office is one, like, this might be more of a team one, but a general standard would be to be at the office by 9 o'clock every day. I expect my agents to be at the office at 9 o'clock every day. Another kind of general standard would be, I feel like some of them just mesh together because I probably focus more on communication standards, calling clients back within a certain amount of time. It's really big for me. Setting time for follow-ups. Mindset and image standards, dress to impress, no shorts. Especially when you're meeting with clients. My husband's on a jean kick lately. He wears jeans like all the time now, and he used to always wear khakis, and I'm not used to it. It's okay. I can wear them. They're nice. They don't have holes in them. And I'm just like, but they're jeans. You're meeting with a client. He's like, it's okay. Technology standards would be kind of, a technology standard would be, I will set you up on a home search within blank of our buyer consultation. So within 24 hours, within 2 days, within 3 days of our buyer consultation. Standard for your vendors, that would be you communicating with them saying, okay, look, when I fill out your form for you to do inspections, I need you to get back to me and or client within 24 hours. Usually they will. Or with your photographer. Hey, Mr. Photo Man, you said the appointment's at 9 o'clock. I'm confirming you'll be there at 9 o'clock. Yes. If he doesn't show at 9 o'clock, hey, Mr. Photo Man, 9:10. I've been waiting for you. Standards for teams. The standard for teams will be a whole heck of a lot of things based on the size of the team and everything like that. Is anyone on a team here? Nope, I'm not even going to go into it then. We're not even going there. Anyone else on Zoom that had any good standards they want to throw in there to anyone else? More so communication standards. Follow up. Setting time, specific days and times of the week to follow up.
You know, go back to your point, like I said, email that. I do too. However, I like to make sure that my clients understand the communications and the sending it out.
Yeah.
So what I'll do is I'll type up the email. I will call the client, let them know the email's coming, and then we go over it together. That keeps me in line when we're talking about it, but they also understand, you know, each item, right? And then if there's any questions at that point, I can follow up right away,
Mhm.
both on email, but for me.
And that works for you.
both,
Yeah. So for us with a team, because we are working with, we have several different hands in the pot between a closing coordinator, a buyer agent, et cetera, et cetera. We try to keep our communication top notch. As far as the email goes out, phone call does not follow, only because of the fact that we just sent 20 emails out. Our closing coordinator might not have time to call 20 people on top of that, on top of all the things. Typically what we do is then the buyer agent will reach out later in the week. Hey, just seeing if you had any questions about what's going on this week. Everything seems to be on track, yada, yada, yada. Is there anything I can do for you in the meantime? So they're not expecting the phone call, they're expecting the email. So what did I do? We exceeded our expectation by also having the phone call later in the week. But that just works for us better than doubling up at one time. But that being said, it's however works best for you. And then you'll know your customers. Some of them will need that phone call over an email. Some of them don't even have email, which I'm like, to not have email would be amazing, wouldn't it? But then I'm like, but I need my email. So then you have to make do with that. So if you know your client doesn't even have email, then guess what? You're not going to be sending them the email every Tuesday. They're the main phone call that you're going to be making. So it kind of goes back to that too. So, all right. S number 3, survey. Okay, so survey is the third step in delivering an exceptional customer experience. You have to check in with your customers to ensure the best possible experience every time. You know now that you need both standards that can be measured and systems, which are your processes. Request feedback and be prepared for the good and the bad. The customer experience is about the relationship and how your customers feel before, during, and after the real estate transaction. It's a journey and a destination. So in this section, we're going to talk about check-in frequently, ask for feedback, track your customer experience score, and making improvements. The customer's point of view is the only one that counts.
What do you mean by score?
We'll get to that. Show you. Okay, so first section, check in frequently. How will you know how you're doing, or how will you know how you're doing? And more importantly, how your customers think you're doing by checking in often. It's an emotional time for the customer, and they are happy, impressed, content, and well served. Check in and ask. Their opinion counts. So let your customer know at the beginning of the transaction how and when you will check in with them during and after the transaction. So this is where you're letting them know, I'm sending you a reminder email every Tuesday about this, or I'm calling you every day on this. Hold please. Sorry, she's taking pictures. Now I have to pretend like I'm just talking. Okay, but does my hair look fluffy? Okay. So you're going to communicate to them that it is your job to ensure that the results are positive. Never hang up the phone without telling them what is happening next. Always ask them if they have any questions. So after you're telling them, okay, inspections are scheduled for this time. Thank you. Inspections are scheduled for this time at 3:00. Click. No. Do you have any questions? Yeah, do I need to be there? That's up to you, Mr. Buyer. For us, we try not to have our buyers at the inspection. If they do feel they need to be there, we have them come the last 30 minutes. And our reasoning is this allows the inspector to do what he is good at without distractions. So if you feel the need that you would like to speak to him at the end of inspections, we can either have him call you, or you can come the last 30 minutes, which would be roughly 2:30. So you just have to make sure that, yes, you are answering questions and not just kind of leaving them hanging. Ask the customer to stop you at any time during the transaction if they have an issue. It will be more difficult to fix the issue later. And throughout the transaction, when you check in with your customer, make it memorable and personable. Are there any other ways that you can do your check-ins? Any other advice or tips or anything for check-ins?
Set up calendar reminders.
We have calendar reminders for ours. We even write it on the inside of each folder what day their check-ins are, just to keep us up to speed. And yes, we still use folders, paper ones. They might only have an MLS sheet printed in them, but it's a folder. Okay, so then ask for feedback. I love feedback. So feedback increases our understanding of what the customer is expecting us to do to exceed their expectations. So a survey system would consist of survey instrument, so a list of questions. So you have to come up with, what kind of questions do I want to ask you about in order to survey where I am? Delivery method. Am I going to email this? Am I going to hand them a piece of paper? Am I going to do an interview style? Am I just going to text them a link? How is this survey going to come out to them? Schedule dates to send to the customer. So know, when do I send these surveys? At the end of closing, after I first met them, when do I send them? Method of recording and tracking your results. How would you track them? Okay, if you do a Google form, you can track them right then and right there on the side. If you're sending paper, like a paper that you're hoping they're going to send back to you, I guess, or screenshot it to you or something. How do I know, okay, I sent it to them this day, I call them on this day, I hope to God they put it in the mail on this day to me. Paper surveys are probably long gone by now. So when is the best time to survey your customers on their experience? It says escrow time, that came out of the book, but basically during the contract to close time, at all touch points during the transaction. So what do I mean by all touch points during the transaction? Like what are some big touch points during a transaction, especially for a buyer? Talk to me.
Well, anything in between, setting up inspections during the due diligence period. And
What are big touch points? What would a buyer be excited about after it happened?
after what, after closing?
Closing,
Okay, that's a touch point. But during
the offer acceptance.
what was that, Jennifer?
Offer accepted, like, shouldn't-
Just put in 14 offers for this person and they finally got one. What am I going to do? You were on cloud 9. Will you fill out this survey for me, please? Tell me how amazing I am, because they are on cloud 9 right now. So things that they're going to be excited about, like we had inspections and the house literally only had one light bulb out. What? Like, yay. The appraisal came out. Guess what? Your house appraised for $10,000 over what we're buying it for. Yay. We're past due diligence. You got everything you wanted on the repairs and this and that. Yay. We're doing our final walkthrough and you just realized the seller put this lovely basket of stale cookies for you. What are we excited about? Yay. So anytime during that, during the transaction that you find that they have a touch point, ask for a survey. Now, are they going to do it every time? No, but that's why you're going to ask for it multiple times, because yes, they might have just gotten their offer accepted. So you asked for a survey. Did they fill it out? No. Are you going to hound them about it? No. You're just going to reach out the next time. And ideally you've gotten that survey before closing, because post-closing, what happens? They are moving, they are distracted, their water's not working now, like the kid hates their bedroom, like there's all this other stuff happening. So the best time to get a survey is during one of those touch points, and celebrate with them. So after closing 1 to 2 months after closing, 1 year later, and then of course, all of the above. So it was touch points, closing, months, year, above. I mean, I just recently reached out to 6 past clients And all 6 of these people have closed literally 2 years plus. And I realized I never got a survey from them. So what do? I said, hey, here's a Google link. Do you mind sending this? I so appreciate everything you know, the referrals you sent us, this and that. Guess who got 6 reviews on Google last week? So excited. But sometimes that's just what happens, is like all of a sudden you're like, I never got this from them, so I should go back and get it. Or maybe they didn't do it on purpose and I need to find out why. And if you know the transaction has been a nightmare, and maybe not because of you, that's when it's more of, hey, I know this transaction was rough. It was hard. You know, we had this problem, that problem, this problem. Is there anything I could have done differently to have made things go better? 90% of the time, they're going to say, no, you did everything you could have. You communicated with me, you did this, you did that. So guess what? Can you fill out the survey? I'm amazing. Your lender stunk, you know, everything like that. Like, fill it out. I was good. You liked me. You'll refer to me. Now, you will also have the ones where they say, you didn't call me. Like, Rebecca, like you left me hanging. Like, I had no idea I was supposed to be at a walkthrough. I didn't even know you ordered these inspections. I really didn't want a termite inspection done. Like, it happens. I mean, sometimes agents get busy and they get distracted. Now, at that point, are you sending out a survey? Probably not, because you don't want your 5-star rating to go down. But you're also going to use that as a learning tool. How could I have done this better for you? What could I have done better? Well, you're telling me I didn't communicate. So guess what? I need to work on my communication standards. I was doing things that you weren't even asking me to do. Guess what? I need to work on my communication standards. I'm not listening to you. So it's all things like that. So feedback, even if it's not good, is good. Does that make sense? Any questions? Anywhere? Good.
That probably would work really good with the spouse too.
Yes.
Surveys.
Yeah. My husband and I have a standing Wednesday morning meeting, which I missed this morning because I'm at this class. And so I told him we had to just pick it back up next Wednesday. But we have a standing Wednesday morning. Oh my gosh, is Jeremy coming for pictures too? Why is everyone trying to take a picture? Okay.
Turn on the fan so your hair is blowing.
But we have a standing Wednesday morning meeting. We have, and it's not just business. I mean, we're in business together, but it's business, personal. There, are we good? I woke up like this, glasses and all. But it's business, it's personal, it's everything that's going on in life. I mean, we're busy people. Awesome. We're busy people. And I mean, it is a check-in for us. Because I mean, even though we live together, I'm like, sometimes don't talk to him every day. Okay, so tracking your customer experience score. So basically, you want to develop a way to track and measure the consistency and progress of your customer service. So you're going to perform care calls. This is what I do on our team. So when I know like our buyer agents working with certain clients, I take time and I call these clients just to make sure our standards are being met. The agents know I do this, which makes them nervous, which makes them really exceed our expectations and our standards. So I randomly will decide what day I'm going to call client 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Next week, might be 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And I just call them saying, hi, hey, this is Katie Womble, Morgan Womble Group. I was just calling in to see how things are going with, we'll just use my husband, with Morgan. How is the selling process going for you guys? Oh, it's great. Morgan calls us every other day, this and that. But, because they always throw in that but. But what helps with those is that then I can go to the agent and say, oh my gosh, so-and-so is so happy. Like, they love how you're doing this and that. The one thing though that I think they need more of is they need you to text them instead of calling them. Or they prefer you do a group text with both the spouses or both the partners on it versus just communicating to the husband all the time. Sometimes the wife feels left out, especially if it's a male agent he's going to probably connect more with the husband versus a female agent. We might connect more with the wife. But knowing that they're also making a mutual decision, so we need to kind of learn how to connect them together. So things like that. So care calls are really big, and they're also the ways you get your surveys. So measuring your customer experience is you're going to receive those after closing surveys back. You're going to notice an increase maybe in your social media traffic with hits. You're going to get repeat customers. You're going to get referrals. So that's how you're going to kind of track, am I exceeding on my customer experience? Am I getting these items? Are people using me again? Are they referring me to their friends and family? Do they block my phone? It happens. So what are some other ways that you can notice if your customer experience is exceeding your standards? I kind of listed the big four, but
Yeah.
anything else you guys can think of? Good. Okay. So moving on, make improvements. So learn from both your successes and mistakes and make improvements to your systems. And don't forget to always inspect what you expect. So when things go right, the customer has a great experience, is happy with the job you did and the relationship you have built, and you have a raving fan. They represent an opportunity for repeat business and an opportunity for referral business now and in the future. But when things go wrong, do not be upset when things go wrong. You take ownership in it, look at the challenges as opportunities and to demonstrate your problem-solving skills and address the issues head on. So with that being said, you're going to respond immediately. You're not going to wait like, oh gosh, I just heard it didn't appraise. I'm not going to call them for another 2 days because I just can't deal with it today. You're going to listen actively and open-ended questions. Actively. You're going to listen actively and ask open-ended questions to identify the problems. You're going to validate their feelings. If someone's frustrated, they can be frustrated. You might not be frustrated, but they might be. Or you might be too. Apologies are not enough. They are only the beginning of a possible recovery. So if something did go wrong, of course, you're going to say, I'm truly sorry that this happened, but then how can you fix it? Commit to the most satisfactory, satisfactory solution to the problem. And deliver your solution before the promised time.
What were the first two? I'm sorry.
Respond, listen, validate. Apologies are not enough. Commit and deliver. You're welcome. Okay, so for this little worksheet here, this is where you would just kind of how and when will I check in with my customers. So this is going to be really your focus on your business and the way you want to do your customer experience. So call and ask how and when often, which is for the survey. Ask them to complete a survey on Tuesdays. What questions would you like answered? So I'll let you guys, we're not going to take time right now to fill this out. I'll let you fill this out on your own. I just want to make sure I get to everything. And I'm totally watching the clock. So the fourth step is surpass. So surpass is the fourth step in delivering an exceptional customer experience. Customers expect a certain level of service during the real estate transaction. Just meeting those expectations may not be enough to wow your customers. So the rapport and the relationship with your client is very important. Sometimes meeting expectations is not enough to wow your customers. It's about going above and beyond and doing unexpected things or doing expected things in unexpected ways. So in this section, we're going to talk about surpassing expectations, elevating your service, and then reaping the benefits. Okay, so surpassing expectations. How can you turn the expected into the unexpected? I'm just broke this down into sellers or buyers. There's also things you can kind of do for both, like you could do for both. So sellers want you to help them achieve the highest sales price in the shortest time with the least hassle. So how can you address their needs and turn the expected into the unexpected? The easiest way is to set your expectations knowing that you can exceed them. So instead of just letting them self-discover new competitive homes that come on the market, you set them up to receive the MLS updates of new listings in the area. Instead of having an open house, you let the sellers know you'll personally be inviting neighbors. Set an expectation that you will call once a week to give an update or email, and then call twice a week. So that's kind of where we go, Brad, is we send the email once a week with that little special phone call that's later. Take a picture of them in front of the for sale sign and send out postcards on their behalf to friends and relatives. Assist with packing and or provide short-term storage. Is there anything else you can think of with a seller, how you could maybe exceed your standards? Zoomers?
So when you say assist with packing, what do you mean? Help them?
Yeah. So like, for instance, you might provide the boxes, or you might recommend and maybe give them $100 credit to the moving company, or, and I say this because this came out of the program, but so just assisting in that way, not physically packing their stuff.
If I could.
Yeah.
A big part of surpassing is really the mirror of that, which is setting the expectations, right?
Correct.
So if you set the expectations and they're here, and it's not possible to attain that.
Right.
How many times have agents said, "Oh, we'll sell your house in a day"?
Right.
Now, is that possible? Sure it is. But if it takes 2 or 3 days, and
Yeah.
maybe they were a little more unreasonable as far as the price they wanted to set,
Right.
and so on, you didn't set those proper expectations, this is going to be so much harder. I think that's
For sure.
the key here.
Right. Well, and I think that's where, when you're setting your standards, you're thinking of, what can I do that will get the job done and get it done nicely? But yes, that standard might not be the complete gold star where it is, but how can I then take it to be the gold star that it will then turn into? Because it can be too, where you say maybe you have a 30-day listing, system. And you say your house will sell. Well, in today's market, I know that's crazy, but in a normal market, you would sell a house probably 30 to 45 days on a listing. So if you say, I guarantee that this house will be under contract in 30 days, well, there's little disclaimers at the bottom there. How am I going to guarantee it? You're going to list it for what I tell you it needs to be listed for. You're going to allow any and all showings to come through. You're going to negotiate any and all offers that come in. You're going to do this. You're going to do that. You're going to do this. Now, if I don't sell your house in 30 days, what am I going to do? I'm going to cut my commission, possibly, because that was what I told you I would do. We're going to, reduce the sales price. We're going to do this, this, and that. But it's by setting the standard, they know, okay, well, Brad can sell my house in 30 days, but I have to do this, 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 and this. Otherwise, guess what? That guarantee's out the door. So yes, setting the expectations, you do have to be careful with that. That way you're not setting the bar so high to where it becomes stressful, because it shouldn't be. And if anything, yes. And I mean, do you have to surpass every single standard you create? No. I mean, the phone calls, like sending the email, is really easy for us to do on Tuesdays with a little follow-up call on Thursday and Friday. They don't know the follow-up calls necessarily coming. They're not expecting it because they know they're getting the email. But then when they get that, they're like, woo, Katie's calling me, yay. That's easy to obtain. Saying I'm going to sell your house in 2 days. I mean, in this market, yeah, you probably could.
I just had a neighbor, the reason why I say this, I just had a neighbor that contacted me to possibly list their home because they were just with another agent that said they would sell it in 2 days and didn't. And they were so disappointed.
And I would be too.
So that's not wisdom though. Even if you can, it's
Mhm.
best not to
Yeah.
say anything like that.
Overpromise and underdeliver.
No, no.
So that.
When I go to Crumble Cookie and I'm ordering a hot cookie and it comes out cold,
Forget it.
I'm mad.
Forget it.
I'm mad.
That's wrong.
I did not order the iced cold sugar cookie. I ordered that warm chocolate chip or Rocky Road cookie you got going on.
Katie will not be making a phone call first thing in the morning.
I will not if I don't get that warm cookie. So yeah, so that's why it's important to have the standards realistically in place.
Correct.
So on the buyer side, so buyers want you to find the right property at the best price in the right amount of time with the least hassle. Good luck with that right now. So instead of just telling them they need financing, you recommend a lender, you set the appointment, you attend the meeting, and you assist them with their final decision making. Do you have to do all of those? No. At minimum, set the appointment. You're going to preview a home beforehand. Take it as you will. Instead of just touring the home, you plan the order of the route. So you plot the route and the homes on the map. You print them MLS sheets. It says on different colored paper. We don't do that. Include interesting information about each house that you might have found out from the listing agent. In today's market, obviously, when that 250 house pops on the market, you're just jumping in the car and running. So you might not print them out a pretty MLS sheet on a pink piece of paper, and you might not have time to call that listing agent to say, what's special about this house? It's 250 in Raleigh. That's what's special.
It's for sale.
It's for sale. So things like that. When they buy a house, you might host a housewarming party for your buyer and invite their friends. You might say, hey, after you close the house and are settled, I'd like to contribute and have so-and-so cater to a 20-person party in your home or something like that. Are you there? No, not necessarily. You don't have to attend, but guess what? You're going to have your business cards. You're going to have all your other stuff there. And then this was in the book, plant and dedicate a tree in their new yard. I wouldn't do that, but they might run it over with a lawnmower because Dave likes cutting grass. I'd be like, Dave, did you see that nice little pine tree I planted in your backyard? Oh.
That's what that was.
So are there any other, I guess, like buyers would be a good one to kind of chat with about as far as in this market, but what are some standards or expectations you would set with a buyer in today's market?
Ready to be with
What?
due diligence and earnestness.
Do you have some cash in the bank? Because you're going to need a lot of it. First-time home buyers, what are you telling them right now?
Good luck. No, just kidding.
Tell
That's
them
what I said.
what?
to my sister,
I
though.
think you have to be honest about the market, and
Yeah.
what the market looks like.
Mhm.
Whether if they're already pre-approved,
Mm-hmm.
what that looks like. Have you really had a conversation with your
Mhm.
your lender as far as how much money you'll actually need in the bank?
Mhm.
So how much does that leave you for all the other things?
Mm-hmm.
What to expect?
Mhm.
So many deals now,
Mhm.
they're having to take responsibility for the difference between
Appraisals.
appraisal and, right?
Mhm.
So all of those things, all of those aspects,
Mm-hmm.
I think not necessarily is going to come into play every time,
Right.
but they have to be aware that these are
Have
the
to educate
possibilities,
them.
right?
Yep.
And if they know that going into it,
Mhm.
they start asking the questions. So if we make an offer and we say, we're going to take care of that, how do you think our chances are? That's when the communication's really good,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mhm. Yep.
When you have to start explaining it every time you're at a house, there's a problem.
Yeah. And that just all folds into educating.
And you don't have the time, to your point, you don't have the time.
Yeah.
I mean, before I leave the house, I do a quick CNA,
Mm-hmm.
so I know exactly what the values are, because by the time they see the house, there could be an offer on it,
Mm-hmm.
right? And we need to at least have an idea.
2 or 3 or 4.
Right.
It's almost in this market. I feel like CMAs are almost a waste of time too. I feel like you just need to be like, okay, listed for 250. It's going to go for about 325. Can you pay 325 for that house? Because that's what it's probably going to go for. It's crazy.
For new
It's
home
crazy.
buyers, though,
They can't do
they
it.
can't do it.
A lot of our new home buyers, we're just telling them it is not the time to buy right now. And unless you have to be out of where you are, we will work as hard as we can to help you find something, but just know realistically it's not happening for you right now, unfortunately. If you can wait a little longer, we're going to keep an eye on the market for you and we will keep you posted with everything. But I don't want to start showing you these houses that pop up randomly and are gone in 24 hours, especially if you don't have some money in the bank. Because unfortunately right now, sorry, there's someone with us. If you don't have that money in the bank, you're not going to win.
I just had 2 new home buyers under contract. And I think sometimes you have to push further out so their money goes farther.
Yeah.
Right?
And that's what we're doing. That's basically what you're telling them. It's like right now, it's not your time. But let's wait a few months. We're going to watch the market with you. We're going to keep in touch with you. And if something does come up and you want to make an offer on it, we are more than happy to show you it and do it. But just know how it is. By doing that up front, they're not going to get so frustrated about everything with the market right now. And I mean, it's not even just new home buyers, it's all buyers in general. We have a client that literally our buyer agent had to put in 14 offers for this client. And half the time, and I mean, they were going way over and they were offering way like 5-digit due diligence, like a lot. And we're sometimes not even in the top 5. And you're talking $600,000 price range. It's been crazy. They finally got one.
So Katie, one thing that I've been doing whenever I'm going out, so because we don't get to preview houses because they're going so fast, whenever I'm scheduling the appointment and showing time, is I'm sending out the documents to them in email right away before we visit the home. Because like yesterday, a client sent me one and I was out on the road all day. I didn't even get to look at it, but they had already read all the information and had knowledge of the house before we even got there.
Yeah.
To determine what they wanted to look at.
Yeah. No, and that's really good too. Yep. Sending that information. Okay. We're going to do a quick little activity, and Zoomers, you have to participate. At least Josh, Hanna, and Jennifer do. You're the only faces I've seen all day. Okay. So this is the yes and game. So what we're going to do is we're just going to do it round robin, just really quick. Basically we're going to go in a circle and I'm going to start it and say what I'm going to do. And then you're going to say yes and add to what I'm doing. So how are you going to exceed what I'm doing? So it's going to be fun. It's going to be real fun. Okay. So I'm going to start saying, I'm going to have a party for our customer. Okay. So I'm going to have a party for our customer. Rebecca.
Yes, and I'm going to send out invitations.
Okay. I'm having a party.
Yeah. Yes, and I'm going to hire a DJ.
Nice. Latasha.
And yes, I will bring drinks.
Yes.
And I'll bring the food.
Yes, and you'll bring the food. Okay.
Yes, and I'm gonna have gifts.
What?
I'm gonna bring gifts.
Nice. Jennifer, what are
Yeah,
you gonna do?
I'm bringing the bouncy house.
I thought this was adult only. I should have clarified. No, just kidding. It's an adult bouncy house. Hannah.
I bring decorations.
Nice.
Yeah.
Balloons, yes. Josh.
And I'll hire the clowns.
Oh, we're going in all sorts of directions with this party. Love it. Anyone else on Zoom that I don't see your face want to say, add to my party?
Yes, and I'll bring someone to clean up afterwards.
Yes. Oh, that just ended it. That was perfect. So so basically like the reason for doing that is that you can see how you can always exceed it. So I just said, I'm having a party. But then what? What can I do better? What can I keep doing? What can I keep doing? This might be a very interesting party that we just had, but hey, it's a party nonetheless. So it's the same thing. I'm going to communicate with my seller once a week. Yes. And I'm going to call them at the end of the week. So you can always add that extra onto the end. Does that make sense? Surpassing? Yes. Okay. So elevating your service. At Keller Williams, we want our agents to have an elevated level of service that creates an unforgettable customer experience. an experience that has a tangible difference from all other companies. Most of us think that surpassing expectations is difficult and likely expensive. All it takes on your part is to truly care about your customer and pay attention to what is important to them. It doesn't have to cost much. Phone calls don't cost anything except your cell phone bill, I guess. So I guess it costs something. There are many ways you can personalize gifts and have special services inexpensively. So when you think of great customer service, what companies come to mind?
Chick-fil-A.
Chick-fil-A, right?
Disney.
What was that?
Disney.
Disney, yes. Nordstrom.
Publix.
Does Publix? I don't shop there that often. I'm a Harris Teeter kind of gal.
I can't do that.
Publix is really good.
Yeah.
I'm from Florida, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, I think I'm gonna start going to the Wegmans in Wake Forest though, because I heard that place is like, yeah.
Panera bread,
What was that?
Panera bread.
Yeah. Where else? I would say my Starbucks is pretty good. My tea is always hot and ready. Anything else? Any other places? Southwest Airline comes to mind for me. I've always had really great experiences on Southwest.
It's Delta for me.
Okay, see? But American Airline,
Oh, tell me about it. I got money locked. They won't give me my money back.
they won't. No, they'll hold it as a credit.
That's-
Morgan has it right now too.
I set up a trip.
I'm a executive platinum, and they always.
Nice. That's why I don't have to fly with them. Ritz-Carlton.
Absolutely, yeah.
You can get yourself to Ritz-Carlton. Or I would say around here, I heard the bell. It's not lunchtime, no. The Umstead. They know how to do it. If you're looking for something local.
Sullivan's.
Sullivan's, yep. They know how to do it. Yeah, so you'll find a few places that you realize how they kind of exceed what a normal standard. Like if you're thinking, so like Chick-fil-A, who are you comparing them to?
Burger King, McDonald's.
Burger King, McDonald's. Can't compare it to the Bojangles. Sorry, Bojangles still I like a lot better food-wise. I don't know, something about those spicy tenders and the seasoned fries. Can't get it past me. But like you're comparing them to other places. So what do they do that goes above and beyond?
They do.
My
go-
pleasure.
Yeah. The one around where I am,
Yeah.
they go.
Yeah.
way up
I mean, they're
there.
outside taking your
Yeah.
order face to face. You feel the connection. If they forget something, what do? Coupon.
Mhm.
And just the my pleasure. When you're like, thank you for all my 500 ketchup packets. My pleasure.
Mhm.
So you'll just notice you'll compare these types of places to other ones. Okay, so reaping the benefits. It is when you surpass and exceed your expectations that you and your customers reap the big benefits. When you surpass expectations, you provide value to your customer, and this increases your customer's overall positive experience. Delighting and wowing them makes them feel good, and they will remember you for it and recommend you to others. You create relationships and raving fans that are loyal for life. So you benefit by benefiting, you're surpassing the expectation, benefits you by increasing your credibility. It shows your customers that you're the type of person who thinks of their individual needs and creates loyal customers who generate positive word of mouth advertising, which is free advertising. People enjoy getting more than they thought they were getting. It'll make them feel special. You will come across as the type of person who thinks of customers' individual needs. You benefit personally, professionally, and financially. So you benefit personally, professionally, and financially. So the next page, we're going to skip it again, but this will be something you will want to fill out later of surpassing. So for instance, how will I continue to enhance my customer experience by bringing unexpected value to them? This is where you kind of figure out your yes ands, yes and, yes and. Okay, so last but not least section is sustain. So sustain is the 5th step in the customer experience. The customer experience does not end at closing. Continue to build and sustain the customer relationship. The business opportunity to maintain your relationship with your clients is priceless. Remember, if you are not staying in front of your clients after closing, someone else is. So stay top of mind, make sure to invest in your business and promote your great customer experience. So we're going to talk about profit and growth, customer loyalty, your systematic approach to success, and creating your legacy. We are what we repeatedly do. Excellence then is not an act, but a habit. Okay, so profit and growth. When you put your customer first, set and exceed expectations, implement customer experience standards and systems, and stay in touch with your customers, your database will grow. So post-closing opportunities, the NAR, sorry, wrong organization there, states that 90% of buyers would use their agents again, but only 12 actually do. And with sellers, 86 say that they would use their agents again, but only 27 do. So you're literally throwing money out the door and missing lost opportunities. Communicate regularly. Keep your database up to date with details, information about your customers' family, nicknames, where they grew up, pets' name, restaurants, birthdays, etc. These will help you with post-closing, being able to stay in touch with them. This is why I create my little Facebook list of clients only, so I can keep up with this information. Reward customers and vendors. Even after the transaction, reward customers and vendors for referrals through a gift card or a personal thank you. Acknowledge them and let them know how much you appreciate them. Remember, with customer referrals, I can thank them up front for a referral and I can give them a gift card. I cannot give them anything when it closes. They are not a licensed agent. They do not get something because something closed. And that's why, we started our inner circle program. So when they refer someone to us and we've made contact with that person, they get put in our inner circle, which lasts for 3 months for every referral they give us. So 1 month, I did hot toddies because it was around Christmas. I think I got a bottle of bourbon and all this nice mug and all this nice stuff. And then the next month and so on and so on. So they get put in the program for 3 months. And then if they refer someone else, guess what? They get in the program 3 more months. It's not related to the transaction. It's related to the person they connected us with. Okay. Customer loyalty. To keep your customer a raving fan, they need to continue to feel your presence in the real estate industry. So for instance, scenario, you have negotiated a great deal for your customer. They are a raving fan and have already sent you 2 new customers. How can you show appreciation? Anybody? Zoomers? How can you show appreciation for this person?
Send a gift card.
What was that?
Send a gift card.
Yeah, thank you card. Even just a phone call.
I'll give a big hug.
Give them a big hug if you can physically, yes. And how can you market this exceptional experience? Come on, I was really big on this part. Yes, give them a survey. Let them tell other people how fabulous you are. And then make sure you share those. On our Facebook page, we do Testimonial Tuesdays. So every now and then we kind of basically repeat what they said on Facebook, but by us posting it. So you just have to let them know that you appreciate them. So your systematic approach to success. So take a systematic approach to achieving success. Set and exceed expectations. Begin with clearly understanding your customer and setting expectations with them. So set and exceed expectations. Serve and deliver the expectations you've set and agreed to. Serve and deliver the expectations you've set and agreed to. Survey and check in often on their customer experience. Surpass the expectations in unexpected ways. And sustain the relationship to ensure customer loyalty that leads to more repeat and referral business, which translate to more profit and growth in your business. Do you need me to repeat any of those?
I'm sorry, yeah, I'm sorry.
No, that's
What
fine.
was number one?
Number one was set and exceed expectations.
Thank you.
Welcome. My pleasure. Okay. And last but not least is create your legacy. When you resolve an issue or go that extra mile, let your customer know. It is important they know how hard you are working for them. Show them the value you bring. They are important to you. Their experience is important to you, and show that you truly care. So then the big question is what is your legacy? And for the most part, I am done, and I was able to cram that in 2 hours, and I'm very proud of myself. So, ahas, questions? How can I explain anything better? It was a lot of information in 2 hours, hence I did this lovely printout for you guys.
I really appreciate it, Katie. I am really excited. I feel like I can take this and actually go through and do a bullet point checklist for my customer experience. And so I'm excited to do that. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. And the little activities after each of those 5 sections is where you can kind of start building that experience. It pretty much just lays out exactly what we talked about, but lets you fill it in based on the way you do your business. Anything else? Any questions? Any ahas?
It was excellent, thank you.
Welcome, my pleasure. Anyone on Zoom? Any ahas?
Yeah, toward the beginning, there was one question that that you said that I really enjoyed that I hadn't thought of before, is where you said, is there anything else you need me to know, and then rate it based on importance? I thought that was pretty cool. I just want to say that.
Yeah. I think that's a big thing too. And you can, I'm trying to see where I had that section. So on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being the highest, how important is that to you? Especially in today's market, when Dave says he wants a really big backyard, on a scale of 1 to 10, how important is having that big backyard? If he's like, it's actually just like a 5, then guess what? We're looking at 0.1 acre lots, buddy, because that's what's available right now. Whereas if he's like, it's 10, I have to have 1 acre. I have to. It's a 10. Then guess what? We're only looking at properties 1 acre and up. So just knowing that and asking, digging that third level deep question, I think is really big. That was a good one, Josh. Thank you.
Yeah, I like that, Katie, about I was trying to get some clients who were buying, but we just kept seeing things and then they weren't acting quick enough and we're losing them. And it didn't seem clear what they really wanted. Like they would just always ask me, what do you think of it? So I thought we need a strategy for them to help them with their criteria. And though I asked them to sort of prioritize and I gave them a list of things, but I like, based on what you said, and like giving them that list and then saying, instead of prioritizing, because maybe there's several that are equally important, just to ask them to rank each on a scale of 1 to 10. Yeah. And then I wanted to ask you, when you were saying, you were telling us something to not get ourselves in trouble about what we can't do in terms of incentives. Would you say that again? I didn't quite catch it.
Oh, so like with referrals?
Yeah.
Okay, so with a referral, if a client sends you a referral, you can't send them something for the transaction itself. You're sending them something for an incentive for the person. So basically, if I were to send them a thank you note at the end of closing that said, hey, thanks so much for sending Rebecca my way. Here's $50. We just closed on the house. Guess what I just did? I just gave them a referral fee, and they're not a licensed agent. So
Okay.
what you do is you do it prior to. Hey, you know, I haven't even showed Latasha any houses, but hey, Rebecca, thanks for sending Latasha my way. I'm so excited to work with them. Here's $50. Or hey, guess what? You're in my new Inner Circle program. It's an exclusive program because you sent me this referral. Here's the information about it. So then now Rebecca's getting incentives based on the person, not the transaction.
And is it okay if we if we have a referral program where we put credit back to them for each referral they give us if they were to then have a transaction with us? So it's not actual cash that we're giving to them, but a discount on their future?
Yeah, like on Facebook or something, you mean? What do you mean?
No, I don't think I mean on Facebook. I mean, this was just suggested to us in the coaching program. I want to make sure that I understood it, and I'm thinking of doing it in a legitimate way. So if someone gives us referral, if we set up a referral program to say, for each referral you give us, you'll get $500 off of whenever it's time for you to buy or sell, and you choose me as your real estate agent, you know, whatever my commission would be, I'm going to put this much back to you based off those referrals that you gave me. Would that be legitimate?
Yeah, but yeah.
You don't love it?
I don't love it only because, okay, I just bought my house and you're telling me you're going to give me $500 when I choose to buy or sell again. Well, I ain't planning on going anywhere for 5 to 10 years. Are you still going to be in business in 5 and 10 years? Now I'm wondering if I want to refer someone to you, because guess what? Katie told me that she'll send me a box every month for 3 months that has bourbon in it. So
okay.
I mean, what you're saying, yes, you can, but think about and this is, maybe that's just me. I'm being a little greedy. I want something now.
No, it's good to hear the pushback on it. So again, your suggestion is when they give you that name, not based off the closed transaction, but for the name, you can include them in your Inner Circle program or something?
Yeah, that's what we do. I like things now.
Yeah, sure. That makes sense.
Like when I buy stuff from Gap and they give me Gap cash or Kohl's, I'm like, I don't want to have to come back here in 3 weeks. Like, can I just use it now? Like, I wanted these outfits. I don't want the 3-week-old outfits. But that, I don't know, maybe that's just me. I want to steal the deal. I know, I want it now.
I think it's just that for those of us who are starting off, we might not have the cash on hand or the business to offer some of these awesome things back to the client. So it's trying to figure out how to build it into the future.
Well, and I think that's where you have to change your mindset with that, is if I invest X amount into my business, what will I get in return? If I invest $200 a month on Inner Circle gifts, how much am I going to get in return? Well, guess what? I just got 5 referrals that amounts to $40,000 commission. So I think if you change your mindset on that, it might work. And your gift doesn't have to be expensive, because guess what? They're not expecting it. You didn't tell them you're going to only send them a $10 gift card. They don't know what your Inner Circle program is. For us, roughly our boxes are about $50, give or take. But some months I go to Home Goods and get really good deals for $35. They don't know what your price tag is.
Okay. Yeah. So I didn't catch that part of how you do it. So you're not letting them know what that gift will be, just that something will be surprising them.
It's a mystery box that shows up on their front porch towards the end of the month. And it's like, I'm like Amazon delivery person. I don't even knock on the door. I just drop it and run. And if you have a Ring doorbell, I wave really quick and then run.
That's fun. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I would look at it that way. Is the amount you put into your business, how can I 10 times it, so to speak? Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. Thanks.
Anything else? You got 10 minutes left of me, guys.
I like how you talked about some of the different ways to add value or provide service to your clients, particularly like when you said about taking a picture in front of their sell sign to
Yeah.
send to their family and friends. That's kind of double, wherein you're getting their family and friends information, as well as providing them that extra service to make them feel special.
Right. Yeah. And open houses, like I know there's still some open houses going on, but like open houses to us is our party. So guess what? I'm holding an open house. Yes. And I'm buying 100 balloons. Yes. And I'm putting up 50 signs around your neighborhood. Yes. And I'm door knocking 5 right, 5 left, and 10 across. So it's just, how can you make it a celebration, an experience? Like, you want them to be stalking around the corner and there be 50 cars in front of their house and they see the balloons and the little wiggly dancing man or something. Like, that's what you want. You want them to be like, whoa, Morgan Mama Group is like having a party at my house right now. And then guess what? Morgan Mama Group just got me 20 offers on my house, which isn't hard right now, depending on your price range. They don't know that maybe. But yeah, so how can I exceed by doing just the everyday things in real estate? When I'm showing you properties, I don't just plop you in my car. Guess what? Got a little cooler bag, got some little waters, might have a graham cracker for you, maybe a nice crumble cookie.
Katie, I'm sure that you also have a great way of following up with everyone that comes to the open house. Could you share what you do there?
So we have an open house smart plan for our team that our agents are to put everybody on. I track everything in Command. So I'm a big, if you've been to any of my classes, I love systems and checklists. Like, it's my jam. I love them all day long. If someone's not following them, we have a conversation, because I'd like to know, is it not working for you? Why is it not working for you? Or did you just forget to check that box off? But so for open houses, we just have a smart plan that they follow, which includes follow-up text, follow-up emails, follow-up thank you cards. We do include people that might be working with other agents. And with those people, we're not aggressive with them at all. We're just more or less, thanks for coming to our open houses. If there's anything I can help you with, please feel free to reach out to me. Other than that, I mean, it's just a basic follow-up plan, as with any other colder lead, because open house leads are still, even though you've met them, they're still they can be cold because you don't know them. Does that help a little bit?
I have a realtor friend that when she holds an open house, she'll actually go scour the neighborhood like on Friday and look at all the local businesses and ask them, hey, listen, if you want to put up I have some flyers at my open
That's a good
house.
idea.
I'm gonna have it, on
Yeah.
Sunday. Maybe we can get some people to your business, and then also they can turn around.
And you sell hot cookies and you want to put some samples at my house? Yeah. I'm really excited about crumble cookie coming to Wake Forest. But yeah, and that's a good idea too, especially, depending on the type of businesses, and having that area information, because you might have out of town clients, buyers coming to these open houses, and they're like, oh, crumble cookie, what's that? It's right around the corner now from you. You can go get hot cookies. Or, a brewery of sorts, or a particular restaurant, or, dry cleaners, any kind of business. No, I think that's a really great idea. It's really good. Really, really good. Hi guys, 6 minutes you got on me. Ask away.
You mentioned about not a good market for first-time buyers. A lot of them, they are their thing is, well, I'm preparing to buy next year. So with one of my buyers, I'm like prepping her right now. And so it'll be like the end of the year, beginning of next year. So you're saying, like, at this point, tell them right now is not a good time anyway, unless you have a lot of money to put down. Well, I mean, what if the market is still here at the end
next
of the
year?
year?
So what have they met with a lender? Do they have the expectations from the lender, knowing how much cash they need for closing anyways? Is their credit okay? First-time home buyers sometimes can have some more credit issues than others. What position can they be at? Hey, Mr. Buyer, can you, we talked to Mike, my lender. He's recommending that you're going to need $20,000 in order to close. Do you have $20,000? I mean, I only have 15. Okay, well, between now and then, is there any way you think you can start saving that additional $5,000, like from your paychecks or whatever? Oh yeah, great. Well, guess what too though, Mr. Buyer, I'm still gonna reach out to you like every other week, just to make sure everything's on track. I'm not gonna lose you between now and the end of the year. 6 months, it's a while. Guess what? You're gonna forget about them because they're not buying right now. Can't, because they are gonna buy. Communication is really big on our team. So like making sure that we're still staying in touch with these cold buyers, what we would call them, is really important, because these cold buyers are our buyers in 6 months, 9 months, 1 year. We don't want to lose them. I don't want to lose it to Dave. I don't want Dave to take my buyer. So that's I think just knowing that they're prepared, that if the market hasn't changed, that they've done everything they can to maybe be very competitive in this type of market. So knowing that they were able to save their money or pay off a credit card or whatever it needs to be. Maybe they get married and now their income's doubled. So yay for you, because now their buying power just went up, hopefully. So things like that. It's so hard, because I know when you think you're ready to buy a house, you want to buy a house. And so when you're kind of told, it's a little frustrating. So what can you do to make them feel okay? Stay in contact with them. Stop sending them properties, because they're going to get excited, and they don't need to get excited now, because that house is not going to be available in 6 months. So things like that, like just where you can kind of keep the excitement going and keep like certain things going, but to the extent where they're not going to be so frustrated because they weren't able to buy it. Does that help?
Yeah, because that's where I am, is just like in the process of just getting her prepared.
Yeah.
And it's just like you said, she plans on marrying, and my thing was, well, go ahead and get pre-approved.
As
and
Mary,
that way,
yeah. Make sure he doesn't have bad credit.
Right, exactly.
This might be something you might want to know before you get married.
So, yeah, it's like,
Yeah.
get the pre-approval, and if he's pre-approved too, then that means you guys can
A little, yeah, better buying power. So no, absolutely. But just keep in touch with them.
Yeah.
Don't lose them.
Yeah.
Because they're important.
Well, I already told her I was going to be bugging her.
And you need to. You need to. And I mean, find out when her birthday is. If it's between now and then, send her a card,
Yeah.
When she gets married, send her a wedding card.
Katie, I had actually had this happen with 2 people, and I keep in contact with both of them constantly. One's a very close friend, and she had some issues with credit cards and stuff, so she was told she had to wait a little while before buying a house. And this girl goes out and buys a Benz and tells me it's over the weekend. I just got
Be like, guess what? You know how we were waiting 6 months? Now we're waiting a year. Sorry. Your Benz just cost you half a house. Oh gosh, that would drive me nuts. But stay in touch with her.
I completely got silent on the phone.
And you should have just said, congratulations.
I couldn't find the word.
And just smiled, because remember Brad said, when you look in the mirror and you're smiling, she's going to think you're excited, even though you're like, seriously, girls, what did you do?
Another one, her husband actually went out and bought a new car.
Wow.
Yeah, because she had student loans that came up on the end of their
Yeah, student loans will kick them in the butt.
I always have that conversation.
Student loans. Woo.
When we tell them that, it's gonna take a little time for you to repair some of this, but we can get you on this path.
Yep.
Right, which is a great thing.
Yep.
What I need from you is to make sure that you don't.
Yeah.
Do X, Y, Z.
Yep.
But if they go out and do it anyway,
Mhm.
I've had that happen once
Mhm.
in the short time I've been doing this, and I said, and I remember the conversation we had around.
Yeah.
Do you remember what that was? And they'll say, oh yeah, we weren't supposed to, but we really want it. And I said, that's fine, that's great. That's your decision. But just know that has changed your path. Right?
The biggest one, which I don't feel is as big anymore, but used to be really big, was people didn't realize when they financed furniture that it hits their credit, and they just go under contract with this new house and they need new living room furniture and they go to Rooms to Go and they purchase some furniture with 0% financing 2 weeks before closing. And oh, what's this? Guess what? Now you're not within your margins. So, all right, friends, 12 o'clock, Zoomers. Thank you for coming.
Thank you very much.
Uh,
All right, thank you. Good job.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Yeah.
And you can send Latasha an email and tell her how fabulous I am. She'll tell me how fabulous I am, and I love it. That would be much appreciated. If you guys ever need anything, holler at me. Thank you.
Thank
Bye.
you.
it?
Tell them how good I was. Scott's here.
It was awesome.
There you are.
So the other day, when we first put this thing in, I was looking at it and I was like, oh, I didn't realize what's going on with I thought it felt more back there.
Nice.
So, hey, can I give something to you and brother?
Sure. Sure. Oh yeah.
You and Morgan got like almost $400 in profit share. So,
Thank you. Thank you.
that's pretty cool.
It's pretty cool.
In case you guys wanted it.
In case you guys want to know profit sharing,
Nice.
it is nice.
So everybody knows the 5S model.
Hopefully, that was the goal. We jammed it all in that 2 hours.
I was about to ask because I came in late.
Yeah.
Zoomers,
Zoomers, I'm gonna let you guys go. Unless you got
got it.
anything.
Thank you.
You guys good?
Thank you so much.
Good. Thank you.
Fabulous. Have a fantastic Wednesday.